attention, please. The next inbound Metro train to Chicago is now arriving in your station. For your safety, please stand behind the yellow line until the train comes to a complete stop before boarding.
Chicago is the largest city in the U.S. state of Illinois and the third most populous city in the United States after New York City and Los Angeles. The city has around 2.7 million residents. Its metropolitan area, sometimes called Chicagoland, is the third largest in the United States with an estimated 9.8 million people. Classified as a world-class city, it is the fourth largest in North America and the seventh largest in the Western Hemisphere. The name Chicago derives from a word in the language spoken by the Miami and Illinois peoples meaning striped skunk, a word they also apply to the wild leek. It's common for Chicago to be referred to as the Windy City, but how did it get that name? Next time you're walking downtown, you may think the strong wind that steals your hat and flips your umbrella is the reason behind the nickname, but that isn't the case. In the mid-1800s, Chicago sent promoters to the East Coast to encourage others to invest in the city. When detractors heard of this, they labeled Chicagoans as braggarts who were full of wind, thus deeming Chicago the Windy City. This nickname resurfaced and became popular in the late 1890s when Chicago and New York City were competing to host the World's Fair. When advertisements appeared naming Chicago a better host city, a New York City newspaper reporter publicly dismissed the propaganda by deeming Chicago nothing but a windy city. Chicago was incorporated as a city in 1837. It is an international hub for finance, industry, telecommunications, and infrastructure, with O'Hare International Airport being the second busiest airport in the world in terms of traffic movements. In 2008, the city hosted 45.6 million domestic and overseas visitors. Among metropolitan areas, Chicago has the fourth largest gross domestic product in the world, ranking just behind Tokyo, New York City, and Los Angeles. Chicago is one of the most important worldwide centers of commerce and trade. The 1920s saw gangsters, including Al Capone, battle law enforcement and each other on the streets of Chicago during the Prohibition era. The 1920s also saw a major expansion in industry. The availability of jobs attracted blacks from the South. Between 1910 and 1930, the black population of Chicago dramatically increased from 44,000 to 233,000. Arriving in the hundreds of thousands during the Great Migration, the newcomers had an immense cultural impact. It was during this wave that Chicago became a center for jazz, with King Oliver leading the way. The Chicago Loop is the central business district, but Chicago is also a city of neighborhoods. Lakeshore Drive runs adjacent to a large portion of Chicago's lakefront. Some of the parks along the waterfront include Lincoln Park, Grant Park, Burnham Park, and Jackson Park. 29 public beaches are also found along the shore. Landfill extends into portions of the lake, providing space for Navy Pier, Northerly Island, and Museum Campus, and large portions of the McCormick Place Convention Center. Most of the city's high-rise commercial and residential buildings can be found close to the waterfront. The city lies within the humid continental climate zone and experiences 4 distinct seasons. Summers are hot and humid, with a July daily average of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. In a normal summer, temperatures exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Winters are cold, snowy, and windy, with some sunny days, and with a January average of 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperatures often stay below freezing for an entire day, and lows below 0 degrees Fahrenheit occur on 8 nights per year. Spring and fall are mild seasons with low humidity. The Great Chicago Fire was a conflagration that burned from Sunday, October 8th to early Tuesday, October 10th, 1871, killing hundreds and destroying about 3.3 square miles. Though the fire was one of the largest U.S. disasters of the 19th century, the rebuilding that began almost immediately spurred Chicago's development into one of the most populous and economically important American cities. The outcome of the Great Fire led to the largest building boom in the history of the nation. In 1885, the first steel-framed high-rise building, the Home Insurance Building, rose in the city as Chicago ushered in the skyscraper era, which would then be followed by many other cities around the world. Today, Chicago's skyline is among the world's tallest and most dense. The United States' two tallest towers are both located in Chicago. Willis Tower, formerly Sears Tower and the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere, and Trump International Hotel and Tower. Chicago's Western Avenue is the longest continuous urban street in the world. Other famous streets include North Michigan Avenue, North State Street, Clark, and Belmont Avenue. The term "the Loop" is largely used to refer to the entire downtown area as well. The central area includes the near north side, the near south side, the near west side, and as well as the Loop. These areas contribute famous skyscrapers, abundant restaurants, shopping, museums, a stadium for the Chicago Bears, convention facilities, parkland, and beaches. Chicago was named the best sports city in the United States by the Sporting News in 1993, 2006, 2010. The city is home to two Major League Baseball teams, the Chicago Cubs of the National League, who play in Wrigley Field on the north side, and the Chicago White Sox of the American League, who play in U.S. Cellular Field on the south side. Chicago is the only city that has had more than one Major League Baseball franchise every year since the American League began in 1901. The Chicago Bears, one of the last two remaining charter members of the National Football League, have won 9 NFL championships, including Super Bowl 20. The other remaining charter franchise, the Chicago Cardinals, also started out in the city, but are now known as the Arizona Cardinals. The Bears play their home games at Soldier Field just off the shore of Lake Michigan. Once a home to stock car racing, Soldier Field was an aging stadium and was in dire need of renovation by the end of the 20th century. In 2003, Soldier Field reopened after an extensive renovation, which increased the number of luxury boxes in the stadium and dramatically improved the day of game experience for Bears fans. The Chicago Bulls of the National Basketball Association are one of the most recognized basketball teams in the world. During the 1990s, with Michael Jordan leading them, the Bulls took 6 NBA championships in 8 seasons. The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League began play in 1926. They are one of the original 6 teams of the NHL and have won 4 Stanley Cups. While 4 of the 5 major franchises have won championships within recent time, the Bears 1985, the Bulls 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, and 98, the White Sox 2005, and the Blackhawks 2010, the Chicago Cubs are known for their drought of over 100 years without a championship. The last time the Cubs were in the World Series was 1945. Some fans claim the curse of the Billy Goat is responsible for the drought. Chicago has the 3rd largest gross metropolitan product in the United States, approximately $532 billion according to 2010 estimates, after only to the urban agglomerations of New York City and Los Angeles, in the 1st and 2nd place respectively. The city has also been rated as having the most balanced economy in the United States due to its high level of diversification. The city and its surrounding metropolitan area are home to the 2nd largest labor pool in the United States, with approximately 4.25 million workers. In addition, the state of Illinois is home to 66 Fortune 1000 companies, including those in Chicago. The city of Chicago also hosts 12 Fortune Global 500 companies and 17 Financial Times 500 companies. The city claims one Dow 30 company, aerospace giant Boeing, which moved its headquarters from Seattle to the Chicago Loop in 2001. Manufacturing, printing, publishing, and food processing also play major roles in the city's economy. Several medical products and services companies are headquartered in the Chicago area, including Baxter International, Boeing, Abbott Laboratories, and the Healthcare Financial Services Division of General Electric. From the last 2 decades of the 19th century, Chicago was the destination of waves of immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe, including, but by no means limited to, Italians, Jews, Poles, and Czechs. To these ethnic groups, the basis of the city's industrial working class, was added an additional influx of African Americans from the American South, with Chicago's black population doubling between 1910 and 1920 and then doubling again between 1920 and 1930.
Is that correct, or am I off base on that? Right. There was, for your listeners who probably don't know, what was uncovered in this John Doe investigation into the Milwaukee County Executive's Office was what amounted.
Chicago has 4 main sections: downtown, which contains the Loop, the North Side, the South Side, and the West Side. The 3 sides of the city are represented on the flag of Chicago by 3 horizontal white strips. There are 675 public schools, 394 private schools, 83 colleges, and 88 libraries in Chicago. Chicago is a major transportation hub in the United States. It is an important component in global distribution, as it is the 3rd largest intermodal port in the world after Hong Kong and Singapore. Nine interstate highways run through Chicago and its suburbs. Segments that link to the city center are named after influential politicians, with 2 of them named after former U.S. Presidents Eisenhower, Kennedy, and one named after 2-time Democratic candidate Adlai Stevenson. Carrot, apple, beet, and celery. The Kennedy Expressway and the Dan Ryan Expressway are the busiest state-maintained routes in the city of Chicago and its suburbs. The Chicago Transit Authority, CTA, handles public transportation in the city of Chicago and a few adjacent suburbs outside of the Chicago city limits. The CTA operates an extensive network of buses and a rapid transit elevated and subway system known as the L for elevated, with lines designated by colors. These rapid transit lines also serve both Midway and O'Hare airports. The CTA's rail lines consist of the red, blue, green, orange, brown, purple, pink, and yellow lines. Both the red and blue lines offer 24-hour service, which makes Chicago one of a handful of cities around the world and one of the 2 in the United States, the other being New York City, to offer rail service 24 hours a day, every day of the year, within the city's limits. Throughout their city's history, Chicagoans have demonstrated their ingenuity in matters large and small. Here are some Chicago firsts. Chicago had the nation's first skyscraper, the 10-story steel-frame home insurance building. It was built in 1884 at LaSalle and Adams Streets and demolished in 1931. When residents were threatened by waterborne illnesses from sewage flowing into Lake Michigan, they reversed the Chicago River in 1900 to make it flow toward the Mississippi. It is the start of the historic Route 66, which begins at Grant Park on Adams Street in front of the Art Institute of Chicago. Chicago was the birthplace of the refrigerated rail car, mail order retailing, the car radio, and the TV remote control. The first self-sustaining nuclear reaction, ushering in the atomic age, took place at the University of Chicago in 1942. The spot is marked by a Henry Moore sculpture on Ellis Avenue between 56th and 57th Streets. The 1,450-foot Sears Tower, completed in 1974, is the tallest building in North America and the third tallest in the world.
Chicago is home to an array of impressive skyscrapers. There's the Aeon Center to the southwest, the slender steel structure-faced light brick planet on the city skyline. The Aeon Center is the Sears best architectural capital of the world.
Hey, riding on that Ferris wheel just reminded me of something. I'm terrified of heights. Oops, I forgot. Oh well, it's over. Time to go home.